This is Chanchai, and I'm doing another RPCS match. This time with a newer player, so it's gonna be another. It's gonna be more of like a tutoring, assess their skill level, and maybe workshop and tutor them. So we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna give them a call right now, and we'll check on them. We're calling them on Discord. I'm using a separate voice chat, but let me see if they got the call. Hi there. Is this Styles?
Hello.
You doing okay?
Yes.
Alright, excellent. I hope you don't mind, but you can say no. But right now I am recording. I tend to stream to you, Twitch, but I also tend to upload to YouTube. Is that gonna be
Yeah.
okay?
No, that's okay. No worries. I'm actually subscribed to you on YouTube.
Okay, awesome. All right, wonderful. Well, thanks for your support. I really appreciate it a lot. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah. So far, how's VF been treating you?
I actually haven't played the game too much since the PS4 release came out. I played it for a few months whenever it first dropped, but I haven't touched a whole lot since then. I've tried to, but just haven't really gotten into it.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all. Then, so I'll go ahead and meet you in the player match worldwide.
Sure.
Um, and yeah, and then we'll spar a bit, and then we'll go over anything you want to go over. So you know.
Sure. I I wasn't
Oh,
particularly good at it whenever I played it. I got up to like,
we might have to do a I'll do one match. Gazwa from Korea jumped on,
oh
but
dude,
I'm what I'm gonna do is we'll do a room match. So you can go ahead and set a room up, and I'll join you. So
gotcha.
I'm just gonna do one game with Gazwa, but I don't normally play Sarah. But hey, I don't normally see him play Lao, so this is works. Okay. All right. I thought I skipped that throw. Okay. All right, now let's see him unleash the fury. So, we had the same idea for the start. All right, all right. I'll go ahead and join your room now. So that was pretty funny.
It's I basically just do it through like the game, like I would if I had it on the Xbox, right?
Uh, yeah. Just make sure you
Yeah.
don't hit the opponent's profile button. So whatever you do, that's because it will call up a system thing that it doesn't have access to. So you do room match. You create room, and I'll join.
Okay.
All right, there we go. And I'll set myself as player 2, and you can set yourself as player 1. All right, and whatever we do not hit triangle. So
Don't hit. Okay.
what
Gotcha.
happens if you hit triangle, it tries to seek up the other player's profile, but because that doesn't exist on the RPCS network system,
Mm,
then like it crashes the game and you just have to restart, you know.
oh, nice.
Yeah. So All right. Here we go. All right, nice. So you're playing Brad. Excellent. What games do you enjoy playing?
I bounce around to a lot of different games. I mostly play 2D fighters. I played a lot of NRS games.
I see. Excellent.
And not as many 3D fighters.
All right, so you are using backdash. Good to know. Good. Good. Excellent. That was really nice. Very nice. All right. Well, the thing is, you know the basic stuff. Are you guard canceling already?
What was it?
Are you familiar with guard canceling? Probably not. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So no problem. So go ahead and I'm going to ask you some questions that'll help me. So what are your impressions of Virtua Fighter so far when you play it? Like, how are you feeling when you play it?
So I was playing Tekken for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly Tekken 7. I started playing Tekken 8 recently. It feels very different.
Yeah.
It feels much more like system based. Like every move works in a very specific way, and it works that way like not every time, but like most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that the game is very mind gamey. It's very aggressive too.
Yeah.
I feel like it's really hard to play the spacing game.
Yeah. So
I usually get like counted pretty easily if I try to space people out.
Yeah, so that is the trick with it. Actually, so the good thing is it's system oriented. However, the moves are actually have quite a bit of different uses, but the hard part is grasping how the system works all together. So we'll go over that. Go ahead and press X to get into the match entry. And so what I'm going to say is, because you are used to playing 2D fight, because you have played some 2D fighters and you've also played Tekken, and those games, there's a couple things. One is, now you do play NRS games, so you are familiar with the block button. But with the rest of the fighters, spacing is like a big deal because spacing and blocking are kind of within the same realm because pressing back or down back is going to block in those games.
Yeah.
So those games, this like blocking is kind of built in with the spacing, and so when you're when you're thinking of defense, you're kind of doing both at the same time in those games, right?
Right.
But in NRS maybe not, right? But Virtua Fighter and NRS, guarding is much more conscious. It's much more. It's because I'm guarding, not because I'm just moving away and I guard also, right?
Sure.
It's like those are kind of two separate actions. So go ahead and press X if you can. Did it crash?
It's not letting me.
Yeah, it might have hit triangle somehow. So if that is the case, Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's here. I'm gonna restart.
Yeah, so just restart the emulator. Not a problem. It happens to a lot of people. So yeah, in this case, you're gonna join. You're gonna quick match into the. You're gonna do room match and then quick match to join the room that I've inherited from you. So.
Gotcha.
So we'll go over what this concept means in Virtua Fighter. It does look like though that you've internalized that the basic moves are the important moves in VF because your Brad was really focusing on very basic moves. Was it because of that reason, or is it because you're just learning, or you're just relearning the game?
Part of it is, part of it's that. Part of it is, I'm not used to the delay. This is my first time on, was it RPCS3, so I just need to get used to that. Sit on room match.
I will say, in my opinion, when I'm playing this, maybe it's because I'm just so used to it that I'm not actually feeling the lag of the game, or I'm not really feeling like the lag of the connection. That's not what I feel.
Right.
But I'm used to VF, right? And I'm also a player that can play on all of the connections. Like I'll say that seems to be something where I stand out. You go ahead and do one player. I'm sorry about that. But that's something where I stand out is I seem to be pretty flexible about being able to adapt to the online as well as the offline. I play it a lot on both, and I play it on slow connections, and I'm fine too.
I gotcha.
But what I will say though, that this might be a biased opinion, as much as I wanted to believe it's a fact. Okay, but I think a lot of times the lag that people feel is partly just not realizing that VF wants you to input really early, and it encourages you.
Buffer into it, isn't there?
What's that? So there's the input
There's like a
buffer, and so what this means is it doesn't mean there's a lag. It means it wants you to input before your character even recovers. It wants you to input like it's like if you're playing an RPG and you're watching like you're in active time battle, and it's like pick an action before your character recovers or before their strike comes at you, before they attack, right? If you're playing Final Fantasy, your opponent's gonna attack. But that's weird. What's going on with me here? Is it select, start? What is this? Okay. Please wait. Okay. So I'm not sure what's going, but we can restart the room. I'm not familiar with room battles. I just thought it was funny that our guest from Korea was jumping in. Did you leave the room just now?
I did, yeah.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and start a room. I'll join your room. We'll try that.
Are you in the U.S.?
I am. I'm in the West Coast.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, there we go. Okay, so what it means is this: VF wants you to input early. Now, here's the thing: a lot of 2D fighters, and also NRS games as well, and also Tekken, there's quite a bit of stun. Like when you block an attack, you're gonna be in a guard stun, and when the opponent hits you, you're gonna be in a hit stun. And in both cases, those games have a generous amount of stun, and they want you to press the button after you've recovered from that stun.
Gotcha.
VF encourages you to push it before.
Right.
So that's when we talk about the input buffer, we're talking about that. We're not talking about waiting and then inputting. We're talking about input while you're stuck, and then when your character is unstuck, they'll do the action. So for example, I'm going to do a side kick. You're gonna block it like this, right? And you do any attack then, right? Right? And you counter hit me because as soon as your character try to do it, like basically when I just a little after I make contact with you, you input it and it's right away, right? It's pretty immediate. So that's where if I tried to mash this, I'm guard canceling because she normally has 2 kicks, but I'm gonna do like 1 attack and then strike, and your attack's gonna beat mine, right?
Right.
Because you're buffering. But when I play a lot of people, there's some things that happen, right? I'm a very aggressive player, so I poke and prod people and I get them really like unsure about themselves. So sometimes they end up attacking late, and that's when I counter hit them when theoretically I should not, right? And they might go, oh, that was the lag. And it's like, no, it's a human lag. but it wasn't the game lag,
Right.
you know.
Mental frame advantage.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's a mental advantage. Yeah. Similarly, and that happens all the time. This game, Street Fighter. I'm guessing one of the 2D fighters you play are the Street Fighter games, right?
Right.
So in the Street Fighter games, you cannot really buffer the normal attacks as much. Some of them you can, but in most of the Street Fighter games, you can't. You don't have much time to buffer those, but you can buffer the specials and you can buffer the supers. So when your character's stuck, you can input like quarter circle forward twice, and then it would work if you hit the punch button when around the time your character recovers. You know, Virtua Fighter, you can hit the punch button before, right? So that's what we mean by the buffer. Now, let's talk about spacing and why VF doesn't really help you. Okay, so first off, I want you to do a backdash and then try to press guard as soon as possible. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
And you see how like you just can't, like it will do the full backdash and then it will guard. Virtua Fighter follows Sega's design philosophy in arcade games. Sega's arcade games like to go forward. If you play Virtua On, your most powerful attacks are when you're moving forward. If you move to the side, they're medium. If you move away from your opponent, or if you move back, then they are very weak. Right? So in this game, it doesn't do that with the damage, but what this game does is its design encourages you to fight up close. Not always, but it encourages you to be doing that. This game wants you to consciously make the decision of attacking or defending or throwing. Now, in Street Fighter, when you throw and you're not a grappler, the damage is pretty low. You're doing it really just to discourage somebody from blocking, but there's not much good reason. There's not much other incentives, except now in Street Fighter 6, you can throw people out of certain options. And so now it's become more important. Now the throws become very important in that game. In Tekken, the problem with throwing when you're not king is that the damage is not that good. And some attacks will, actually the biggest reason is because at a high level, the way that game's designed, you can react defend it. You can react escape it.
Right.
Unless it's certain situations in Tekken 8. So, and then the reason that the throws are bad is the damage sucks. So the only real reason at the high level that in Tekken 7 that they did throws, and Tekken 8 outside of guaranteed situations that they're doing throws, is really to get to player 1 or player 2 side, whichever side's better for that player. Because in Tekken, player 1, player 2 side matters a lot.
Right.
Because the techniques are hard, and some people execute better on one side than the other, depending on the character they use and their technique, right? So at the high level, the throw, like even when it's escaped, is going to switch positions. So at Tekken 7, they were only throwing just so they can get to the other side. That's literally it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's where it's like animation.
Right? But in Virtua Fighter, throws can do quite a bit, you know? Not always, but like your Brad's got back forward throw. So you can do back forward throw, and I think you got a down attack after that. And then I think you can hit down forward and kick after that. Are you familiar with the numeric notation?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so 3K when they're down and tapping it. Other thing with Virtua Fighter, it wants you to tap directions. It wants you to let the stick go back to neutral. So are you playing on pad or...
That threw me off.
What kind of controller are you using?
I'm using a stick.
Okay, awesome. I think this game's wonderful on stick. Which buttons are you using for guard, punch, and kick? Or more specifically, what fingers are you pressing guard, punch, and kick with?
My index, middle, and ring are on like the X, square, and triangle buttons.
Okay. So that's a fine control scheme. That is the American and Korean control scheme in the past. However, in VF, I actually encourage you to consider the Japanese standard, which is now standard everywhere, but you can control however you like. It's an online game at this point. It's a console game at this point, so you can play however you like. But I encourage you to use the default arcade controls, which has guard on where you would press guard with your thumb, and that would be X. You would press punch with your index, and then you'd press kick with your middle finger. And part of the reason is because of how much you're going to guard cancel. So like right now, so our connection's good, but it is slow, and that's fine because I can play slow. And this is actually good training. You can watch animations better. So you do punch and then guard cancel, like punch guard, punch guard, punch guard, right? You want to avoid doing this. Okay, so this is punch, punch, punch. If I tried to time it like I was playing Street Fighter, I could do that, but I'm much faster if I do this. And this is hitting guard in between. So I want you to practice doing it and just doing it as fast as you can. Punch, then guard, punch and guard. And it's going to be even more important with the next drill we do. Yeah. And I want you to know this attack is one of the most important attacks in Virtua Fighter. You may have seen my video about it, or you may have seen me talk about it so many times. But in Virtua Fighter, it really is important to get good with the jab, the low punch, and the elbow, and then throwing. Okay? And that's because, for example, if you try to beat this sequence, if you guard and then try to attack after the jab, so guard, and then you're going to attack after you block this guard, okay? After you block the first attack, right? Right? If you did this, you could low punch this. If I just did this, you could low punch, right? Because a high is weak to a crouching attack. This is the inherent weakness of a high attack, right? So low punching would just win against this, right? But if I do this, the frames are going to work for me because the high jab is actually plus on block. And in VF, there's not many things that are plus on block, but high jab is one of them. And everybody's high jab works this way. And and this is going to be very important. But I forgot how you rush the timer. There's a way to rush it, and I totally forgot how to do that. Let's try not to hit L1. But if you, yeah, I do not want to hit that. There is a way to rush the timer. I totally forgot what it was. But that's okay. We have time to chat. Okay, here we go. And so
it's really similar to like the one jab, the down forward one, and the dick jab.
Yeah, it is, except that okay. So the dick jab in this game is stronger than the one in Tekken.
Right.
And the reason is because of the mix-up nature of this game and what you want to do when you hit them with it, and the advantage you get. In that game, you don't get much from it. All it's okay. So in Tekken, the dick jab is just good at stopping people from pressuring you. That's all. That's really all it does. In this game, it's like in this game, it's like in between Street Fighter's crouching mid kick and that dick jab. Okay, now it doesn't guarantee a combo like Street Fighter, but it gives you a good advantage that allows you to force a decision on your opponent. So that said, okay, so block. Remember this drill that we were doing, and then you can low punch this, right? Yep. Okay, now block, and do the same thing. Just right. This elbow, yeah. And the reason is because technically that my elbow and your low punch are hitting at the same time. But my elbow is winning. And this is a big difference between Virtua Fighter and Tekken. In Virtua Fighter, the bigger damage attack wins if they trade. So now, I want you to, so hold guard, and I want to show you something now. I want you to do this, forward and punch with guard cancel. Okay? And Brad, you have to guard cancel. In the case of Brad, you have no choice but to guard cancel, because if you don't, you're going to sway. Yeah, so just do as many of those can. Yes, exactly like this. Okay? Now, if I block this and attack, right, that's not secure, right, because you're -5, and so my attack would win here. But now go ahead and practice the high jab into elbow, right? Good, perfect. Okay, so this sequence is good. So the gist is this: with your jab, as long as you believe that jab's going to touch your opponent, then the elbow is pretty secure, right? Because now there is a weakness, but we'll get to it later. There's one weakness, but you're watching for them to see if the weakness. In Tekken, you avoid risky plays in Tekken because you just get wrecked. and because you don't get reward without your opponent screwing up, okay, or without your opponent kind of doing something wrong. In Virtua Fighter, you're seeking reward and you're managing your risk. Everything you do in this game has a risk. So just because it has a risk doesn't mean you don't do it in this game. But in Tekken, you don't do it because you need to not make mistakes in that game. Okay, this game, you need to have more of a gambling mindset, and you're more like, okay, if I'm doing this, if I win this decision and I get a high reward, but I lose this decision and my opponent is not making me lose a lot of life, then that means my risk is low based on the way this is playing. So this is a rock paper scissors game, and if you find out that your opponent is just not making your choices dangerous, then you get to keep doing those choices, because on balance you'll probably win if you guys are mixing up a lot, you know. And so you have to have more of a gambling mindset when you play this game, and how to fight up close. So, but that said, first we'll do the basics. So you already did the jab elbow, and you understand that you need to guard cancel the elbow, right? Now here's the thing. Right. Go ahead and do this drill again. High jab, elbow, okay? And I'm going to show you a couple things then. So I'm going to get yellow flashed by this. So high jab into elbow. Good. Now, I want you to do... you can do like 9K after your elbow. I'm going to see if you can do a difficult technique. Can you do 3-3P?
Yeah. So up to this.
So down the diagonal down forward twice and then punch.
Yeah.
So 3-3P. No. As a move. 3-3 and hold the second 3 and press punch. So.
Wait, you mean?
As a move, as an attack, 3-3P.
Oh, I thought you were talking about that.
No, I'm not talking about the crouch dash. I'm talking about how to do this move though, and I'm going to show you why. So.
Are you talking about the upper?
So we're trying to get you to do, because it's Brad's a little complicated, but we're trying to get you to do his uppercut from crouch, but we're going to cheat it by doing 3-3.
Okay.
But you don't have to wait. You just buffer. You just input it really fast. 3-3P. In fact, actually, I'm going to adjust the drill, and I'm going to get back to this drill that I was going to show you, okay? Just to kind of show you the decision point here. So we're going to do... now, the only downside to right now this game's status being more of a Discord game is that you're going to fight against people that are experienced or that have the same resource you do to learn the game. So it's going to bypass some level of noob crushing, okay?
Right.
But let's imagine you're fighting a beginner, okay? And this beginner is going to be mashing high punch, okay? So I want you to think, what is a good plan against this? Try to just go ahead and beat this. That's good. So now I want you to try low punch, and then after the low punch hits, I want you to not even move the stick this time. Just after the low punch, go ahead and do 3P. Yes, just like that. That's the uppercut we want, okay? Yeah, so now I'm going to mash. And you just try to beat this sequence. You got to do it really fast. Commit to it, yeah. Here's the thing. High jab. Okay, so high jab, low jab, elbow. The reason they're so fundamental for the boxing and Virtua Fighter is that their risk is really low. Even at the highest levels of play, the risk of these moves is very low. They still have risk, but they're probably the least risk of your attack options. Okay? And so that makes them very, very important to use when you're stuck, when your opponent is just outplaying you. These things can save you if you know how to use them. Okay? But here's the thing. These attacks have very short stun, very little stun. So because of that, when you do a move like low punch into uppercut, you have to almost do it right away. Like you almost have to commit to it. Okay? Okay. You almost have to commit to it. I actually can do it on reaction, but I'm not reacting to the hit. I'm reacting to just predicting the hit, and then I go, oh, I've got this. And how do I know I've got it? Because I see them attacking, so I'm gonna get a counter hit, right? But I am also fast enough to hit confirm it, but hit confirm is very hard for these 3 moves. So I am going to admit, hit confirm's hard on these moves, so you're going to have to do a little reading sometimes and really just commit to just going like, you know what, I know I've got this low punch, so I'm going to go ahead and do the uppercut. Okay? So let's go ahead and beat the masher with that. Exactly. And you can, after that, you can do punch, 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 kick. See? And you've done roughly about a quarter of my life, a little more than a quarter of my life. So the low punch didn't win you didn't win you all that damage, but it created the situation to where they should have defended. Okay? So right now, this is working because you're fighting a masher, but you also realize that, you know what? I don't even have time. Like, it's hard to hit confirm as I'm learning this game, so I gotta make the read that they're still going to do this, right? So now, keep doing what you're doing, but so you gotta wait and see me rushing first. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Very good. So now we've got this situation, right? Okay, so now alright, and then we'll rematch. So no problem. But what I'm giving you is I'm giving you the game plan against mashing, right? And why does this plan work? You want to explain why the uppercut works?
It's because you were counter hitting. Are you counter hit launching, or are you just low profiling it?
Well, it's because it's what it is your low punch hit me. Now it is a counter hit, so that's +7. But even at +4, even at +4, the uppercut would work if I was mashing. Okay. So what happens is that just simply by that low punch hitting, it has set up the situation for that uppercut to win. To win if both players attacked. Because I'm at a disadvantage. So my attacks, unless I do something very specific to beat that uppercut, if I do attack, because I'm a masher, I'm going to get launched. So you win the advantage with the low punch, and then with that advantage, you immediately convert it into a guess. And your guess right now is, I think he's going to keep attacking because he's a masher. Yeah. So the mindset here is I'm going to low punch and I'm betting on him attacking, right? Very good. So we'll keep working on this. Very good. Excellent. Now something's changed. So what changed?
Now you're blocking and throw punishing me.
When am I blocking?
You're blocking after I low punch you.
Right. So now, see, so this is the decision point. So now, what do we do? How do we beat this?
I pressure you to go.
Okay. So what it is now you do the low punch, but you're like, now he's going to block after I low punch him. So I have something that's going to beat block. What is it? In this game, throw. So you're going to low punch into throw now. Okay? Very important that you understand this concept and that how real this concept is. It's a very different mindset than a lot of other fighters where you are trained to passively hold down back and wait till you get until there's a break in their offense. But in this game, you're taking the initiative back with that low punch. And with the initiative you get, you're going to go, I predict he's going to attack, so I uppercut. Or I predict he's going to block, so I throw. Okay. So you're only asking yourself one basic question, though. When you low punch, just assume that your low punch is going to hit. Like, let's just assume that that's guaranteed to hit. Then let's say, then the thing we're thinking is he going to attack or is he going to defend? Right. And then the reason we don't care about throw is because, well, attack will still beat throw in this game. In this game, attack will beat throw. So we don't care about the throw decision. We're just like, is he going to attack or is he going to throw? And so, right? And so if it's attack, we launch. If it's throw, if we think he's going to defend, we throw. So go ahead and do perfect. And now do a higher damage throw. Right? Sorry. Excellent. And on balance, you still win out on this. So. And then down kick, down forward kick there. I think that throw guarantees the. I think one of his forward throws guarantees it. So. All right. So that's what we do there. Now throwing does have its caveats, but throwing is very important in this game, and it will be important. The biggest advice I can give in this game too is two things. One, when you get used to how to attack with your character, when you get used to your own attacks, like you kind of get a good feel for them. When you play the game, watch your opponent. Watch them more than you watch your own character. That's number one. Number two, get very numb about getting hit. Try to be very rational. Try to act like you don't care when your opponent hits you. This is because in this game you need to make conscious decisions. Go ahead and practice uppercut combos. So. Very good. Oh no. Yes, you got it in time. That was really nice improv. Good improv. So we'll talk while you do this. So we're going to internalize this into your muscle memory, okay? And we're going to internalize it. And don't feel so bad about habits, okay? Don't, like most players, they want to get everything right the first time. Most humans, most Americans especially, I'm going to say Americans more than anyone else, but everybody. Humans really, we have strong negativity bias. We remember the negative things more than the positive things usually. They kind of are traumatizing to us in a way. That's exaggerative language, but it's really kind of the effect. And so we tend to have negativity bias. And also, us as Americans believe in individualism, and we tend to be obsessed with control. So one of the big fears that I feel with a lot of American fighting game players is, and around the world too, is the fear of bad habits, right? They're like, oh, I don't want to develop a bad habit. But the truth is if you just keep practicing, you can correct habits. If you diligently practice, you can overcome them, and there are good habits. And there's a good reason to have good habits. Autopilot is not your enemy unless you're so afraid of it and you refuse to use it. But there is a way to use autopilot, just like an airplane pilot has to use autopilot. There's a good way to use it, and there's a way to steer it, and there's a way to take over control. And when you're learning, then yes, everything has to be in your control, and you need to consciously do things. And we'll go ahead and keep practicing this drill while I talk. And so basically, like, and so a lot of times, it's as a beginner, those bad habits are going to be the things that mess you up on like in a martial arts class. Yeah, that's good. That's going to be the thing that could mess you up on the test, right? Because you're trying to learn and you're trying to build your good habits, and you're afraid of your bad habits. But what I can say is that for all of even the bad habits, they can be overcome with practice too. It just requires extra diligence, but also just like the good habits took time to build, the bad habits, instead of trying to erase them, you just, at some point you learn how to do one of two things. One, you turn that situation where you have a bad habit, you override it with a good habit, and not thinking about, oh, I need to stop doing that, but just thinking, I need to work on doing the better option here, right? And so you just override it. but in a positive way, without traumatizing yourself over it, and without like freaking out and getting upset that it takes practice. The other one is, if you can do that though, the great thing is you can turn it into a mix-up. Because then you're able to go, at some point you're going to unlearn the really good habit. And in this game it becomes important that it doesn't become your only habit. Because what ends up becoming important is I need to introduce a second option. I need to be able to mix up between two options at that decision point. And in this game, actually, it grows from there. Because at some point, you need to be able to do 3 things in that spot, and eventually 4 things, and eventually 5 things. And you don't do it by yelling at yourself whenever you do something that was not intended. You just train yourself more, but you also just train yourself to be able to do those other things. And this game is very... You will get lots of exchanges in this game. This game is very rapid back and forth, but it gives you... as you get used to the system, as you get used to how things work, you realize you have a lot of options in this game, and it feels different from a lot of other fighting games. A lot of like Tekken, there is one main answer here, and then there's the answer for the answer, and then later we'll go past that. But at some point, when you go 3 or 4 steps deep, then if you're not doing answer A, like you'll get wrecked. In Tekken, this game, you could get wrecked, but it's not exactly because of that. In this game, it's only because you guessed wrong on the rock paper scissor. And the rock paper scissor is if I'm attacking, right? If I'm doing this, well, you block and low punch, right? Defense is going to beat this. So yeah, see? And this is right. So right. And so in this game, defense is how we deal with attack. But to deal with defense, show me what you deal with defense. When somebody's defending, what is your rock, paper, scissors? Correct. You throw, right? So if the attack is a rock, okay, and the guard is then the paper that you use to wrap around the rock, then throwing is the scissors that's going to cut that paper, okay? And so when you hit somebody with that low punch, you're just thinking, is he going to attack or is he going to defend? So the masher, the answer is he's going to attack, right? And so what we do is we set up advantage. So another way to think of advantage, when you have frame advantage, your attacks are better than mine. Okay? All of your attacks are better than mine because they're coming out sooner than my attacks, right? So if you low punch, for example, you could do low punch. Let's try low punch into 9K, up, forward, and kick. Can you show me? So do low punch me and then do up, forward, kick and commit really fast. And maybe that doesn't work. Looks like it works, right? So do you see how scary that is? Suddenly this attack that couldn't win a lot of situations because it's too slow, that advantage from the low punch gave you enough advantage to win, as long as you counter hit with the low punch. If you normal hit, if you don't get that yellow flash, that 9K will lose to the jab. But another way to think about it, now this time, I want you to I'm not going to attack. I want you to low punch and then uppercut. Or low punch and then 9K. Okay? Yeah, just like that. Okay? Yeah, just like that. Right? It still wins. So even on normal hit, that 9K is winning. Okay? So that low punch is giving you the advantage to use that move. Now, the risk of that move is that I block it and I punish, or I evade and I punish. Okay? So it does have a big risk for that. However, you know your uppercut? If I block your uppercut, I don't have guaranteed attacks. I have advantage so that my attacks would beat you if you tried to attack. If I block your uppercut and you try to attack, if I choose attack, my attacks are gonna win. Okay? But it's safe because there's nothing guaranteed. If you can block, right? But let's try another thing here. I want you to try 9K, and then I want you to block after it, okay? Hold guard after it. And so I know these are very basic principles, but it's really important to internalize them because this goes to the core decision making in VF. Like, it's more about you making these very simple, basic decisions. The reason that VF is hard is because you make these decisions rapidly. Other games give you a break. You're like, okay, I'm stuck and I gotta wait till he finishes this combo. You have a lot of time to think. This game, the combos are pretty short, usually, right? So go ahead and, yeah, right? So see, it is punishable, right? But it's not punishable by that. That's too slow. So go, keep doing this drill. Right? But it is punishable. It's punishable by like this. Actually, maybe not. So it's punishable by that, okay? But the damage you could do with this 9K, now let's compare the damage. Go ahead and do this and try to combo me after. Oh wait, you can't. Okay. So this one, you don't get to combo. That's not really a good example, but still, I just don't know Brad that well. Okay. But you remember the damage that we did with the uppercut, right? Now here's the thing, do the uppercut. So do low punch in the uppercut. Okay, good. And then guard, yeah. And see, it's safe. When we say safe, we mean that there is no guaranteed attack. The opponent is merely guessing, right? So what do they guess with? Well, they could make, if they can beat your high guard with a low attack, right? They could beat you, but the thing is there's nothing guaranteed, so this is really good, right? So for me, if you're defending after that, I either want to low attack you or I want to throw you. Okay? Right. So then I do throws and, you know. And then that's a damaging enough throw. And she actually has really nasty Okizeme after. So she can like that, and that throw actually amounts to a lot. Her throws are considered weak, but she has Okizeme, she can do some mean stuff with them. So now we're gonna go back to low punch into, okay, let's do this drill again. Alright, so how do we deal with this player? So how are you gonna stop this player? What is this player doing against you? Yeah.
Besides blocking?
He's blocking. You need to think of blocking as a choice in this game. Him blocking is a choice. So you need to assault the choice. In other games, blocking is a passive thing. It's a very passive activity. It's how you get a break, right? In this game, blocking is a choice. If they block, they're opening themselves up to throw. If they block, they're opening themselves up to sweep, to low attack. So you could low attack them. You could do 1P. Down 1P is really good. That's 2P? Yep, 1P, right? And if you counter hit with it, you'll get a combo. So, that said, so the thing is you want to actively undermine the choice they're going to make. And so if you're very sure that that choice is blocked, you go for a throw. Okay? And that is the hard part about VF, is that you need to be actively doing that in this game. And you should actually do it in other games, just that other games are like built with a loop where I can just do this. Now in this game, walking sucks. So you move with dashes in this game. Right? By the way, remember how I told you about backdashing the block? I want you to try dashing forward and block as soon as you can. This game has no penalty for you forward dashing. So you can move forward and block. And this is safe. You can crouch dash forward and block too. And this motion is a really good, like, did you ever learn wave dashing in Tekken?
I wasn't good at it, but yeah.
Okay, this is this game's wave dashing, and it's easy and everybody can do it. So, you know, um, it looks dumb now, but later on it's very good when you start learning how to apply the other stuff in VF. Okay, so basic stuff with VF though, the real basic is that you want to, generally if you find a masher, you do defend, but if he's doing a lot of high attacks, the low punch is winning because they're doing a high attack, right? So what's the weakness of a high attack?
Duck under it.
That crouching attack's going to beat it, okay? Similarly, what do you think the weakness of a low attack is?
You can crouch block it.
Yeah, that's one, but there's a significant weakness in when we go attack versus attack.
They're slower than the jab.
No, what it is this. I want you to mash low punch against me, okay? And I'll show you the weakness. Even if I get hit, I'm gonna get hit by the first, and I can crush it still.
I thought, I don't know why, but I was thinking like one of these lows.
Well, even that one, this will still beat it. This attack has a hopping property. It is like a jumping attack in Street Fighter. And the weakness of low attacks is that, right?
Right.
So I get hit by that, and I still crush. So I have disadvantage. This thing should not beat the low punch. But it beats the low punch because of that. And that move beats the low punch, right? So take a hit by this, and then do 9P plus K. Right? Like, so let's practice that. Your opponent has a 2P habit. This is how you beat it. So what does Brad do? There you go. And he has combos too. You can actually do 9K after it. Yeah. He has more than that too, but you can do that. So, you know. But let's try 9. Yeah. But just for now, start with 9K. Start easy first. Yeah. See? So this is the weakness of low attacks. The weakness of low attacks, they can be crushed. And they get crushed by hopping attacks. Try even 9K, but I think you have to have advantage. So block the low punch and then do 9K, okay? You can actually, here's the thing. Low punch, ever since Tekken 3 and ever since Virtua Fighter 4, you can high guard low punch. So go ahead and standing guard. See? As long as you have advantage, this 9K is going to beat it, right? But that's the main thing, yeah. So if somebody is mashing low punch, this is how you deal with it. Really important to know this. That you can do hopping kick. The hopping punch just sucks, that's all. But you can do like up forward and guard and then press kick. Like press up forward and guard and hold guard and then just up forward and guard and then hit kick. But you got to hit kick quickly, like this. So. In this case, you just weaved it. There we go. Oh, and that would combo too. I don't know how. I know that you can combo. It's probably 2KK, but you can try 2KK right now. I think that's the one that will do it. If you wanted to practice it. And then 2KK. Just try it for fun, just as something to show you. By the way, these things that are hitting on the ground, the 9K does hit on the ground after the 9P plus K, but but not everything's guaranteed, so some things are not going to work. But I think 2KK might be it. So I think if you do hopping kick, that up forward and guard, and then you press kick quick enough, and you cause me to fall down in that funny way, I think you can do 2KK. We'll try that just for fun. So, yeah. So we talked about, reminder, pop quiz. What's the weakness of high attack?
You can low crush them.
Yeah.
Or high crush them.
You can crush it, yeah. So you can crush it with a crouching attack. As long as your attack is crouching, right? The problem with saying low attack is, well, Brad's got a low kick that's standing. If you press 2K, right? So the high attack's still gonna win because he's standing, you know. But a low, you know. Let's see here. So, yeah, try that one and then do 2KK. Yeah. But you gotta do it right away.
It's not coming out.
You're doing it early. Just kind of wait a minute. There you go. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I guess not. But I feel like there's a follow-up there, but I don't know what it is. But it would be cool. Oh, to be honest, I'm going to show you the move, but you can practice on your own time. Do 4-6 K plus G. So back, forward, kick, and guard. Yeah. And again, I am really going to encourage you to have thumb on guard, because all this guard canceling is going to wear out that area between your middle finger and your index finger if you're learning the game on the current control scheme. But if you prefer playing this way, it's okay. I'm just letting you know, though, that the standard way, and if you were... Not that you're going to go to Japan and go to arcades, but I played in Japanese arcades last year, and I played in Chinese arcade this year. And it is using the Japanese control scheme of, you know, thumb on guard, index on punch, and middle finger on kick on like the standard control setup that we have in the game. So I really encourage that. But yeah. So let's go back to the beginning. You're fighting a masher. How are we going to beat him? Yeah, and so now, because the game's in slow motion, you're going to have to kind of do this a little earlier. Yeah, there you go. You've got it. And you can see that it is responsive. Like, the thing that's blown me away by this netcode is it's still responsive even when it slows down. It's not, like, I'm used to netcode meaning I got to input early and I got to, like, and the result will come later. But for whatever reason, even when it's this slow, it still works. I just have to time my inputs with it a bit more, you know? But also understanding how the game wants to be controlled helps. And you seem to understand how this game wants to be controlled, to a degree. I've told you about the buffer, and you've done guard cancel with no problem. A lot of people struggle with it. I have to usually give 2 days of lecture to get just the guard cancel on some people, right? Okay. So now we're going to do the next player after the masher. So we're doing the masher, but when you low punch him, he's going to block, and you throw. So now you're fighting somebody who will actually respond to you low punching them. Okay? This is the same thing as, so this is how we force a guess. That low punch forced a guess, right? So in the rock, paper, scissors, what beats throw?
Attacking.
Yes. So you want to make it a big choice then. With Brad, I'm going to show you a move to do that. And I am going to show you it's going to be the same move you use for spacing as a beginner, okay? And I'll show you the combo. And you can practice this against the AI. And if you want, I do have a video where I teach somebody just like you who is just learning the game when he, like, on day one, I recorded that video of them playing. That was their day one, just like for you, it's roughly same. And I walk through these same basics and kind of give them guidance. And it is with Brad too. They're playing Brad. So I think you'll understand it, and you'll understand where the lecture is going. And you can always rewind it, and you can listen to it at about 1.25x because it's still comprehensible at that speed. But, okay, so the combo is, I want you to do forward punch and kick at the same time. That one, yep, 6p plus k, yeah. Now, after that, I want you to do 3pp. Yeah, do it really fast. There you go. So you do that combo, see, do it 3 more times. There you go, that's the combo. Did you practice this before? Yeah, or you saw it on the video? Or, yeah, very good. So that's the combo. So now, I'm going to mash, you're going to low punch, and I'm going to block, right? So you have to throw. But now, in this other situation, the next drill is going to be, I'm going to hit you with low punch, okay? And I'm going to throw. Actually, let's start with, let's do this in the proper order. I'm going to hit you with low punch, and then I'm going to do an option. And then I want you to think about what you're supposed to do the next time we do this, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to hit you, so you're going to go ahead and take the hit first. Okay? Good. Now, if you want to practice evade, block the low punch. No, take the get hit by the low punch, and then tap up and neutral. Okay. It's important that you import the neutral. That is an evade. You can do down and neutral also. Okay? And you can probably PK after this. Like do punch kick combo. Yeah, like that. So let's practice that. And if not, we're going to practice doing elbow after. Yep, you can do that. In fact, this time evade and do 6P plus K. Okay? Okay, maybe not that, but let's try. It's going to have to be really fast. That's guaranteed. No. Look at that. Or at least you're defending after. So yeah. So let's keep practicing this. It's fun. So almost. Look at that damage. There you go. Even though it's slowed motion, just remember you can buffer, okay? You can buffer during the evade. So just remember you can buffer during the evade. You don't have to time it like Tekken. Okay?
Right. I think I was hitting it too.
You were hitting it late.
Early after.
Oh, okay. So were you having to do it twice in a row? Or? You should be doing it earlier. That works too. That works too. Actually, I think that was because it was a KO hit. But still. Okay, so evade is in the same category as guard. Evade is a defensive action. Evade is good against attacks. Now, guarding is more secure. I am going to show you the weakness of evade, okay? There's the main weakness of evade is that half circulars and circulars can hit you. The half circulars have to target the direction you evade, and then the full circulars, well, they just generally you can't evade them, but there are techniques to mitigate that risk. Right. But generally the full circulars you cannot evade. Like you won't get a successful evade against a and that dashing like evade that we see, that's what we call a successful evade, right? So right now in the neutral, if you try to evade right now, this is what we call a failed evade. Okay? This evade is at risk of getting hit. Okay? So now this time, do you see where Sarah's back is? Which way is it pointing?
Towards the screen.
Towards us, right? Yeah. Now which way is it pointing?
In the background.
Okay. So we're going to do the same drill we did before. I want you to evade. Okay? Good. This move, this kick, you evade to her backside. So right now, evade to her backside, okay? And in this game, unlike Tekken, this game everybody's a switch hitter. Everybody is left or is ambidextrous. They don't care whether they're left or righty. Tekken they do. Okay? So this move, you got to evade to her back. And I'll give you a hint. Against Sarah, Generally, you evade against her back until she goes into stance. And then when she's in her special stance like this one, then you evade to the front. But let's try evading to her front now, okay? So this is the weakness number 1 of evade. Half circular gets a counter hit on it. See that? Okay, and normally I get that, but I don't get that yellow flash, but I get a counter hit, which is a big deal. Okay? So, now here's weakness number 2. I'm going to do the same drill we did before, so you're going to evade after getting hit by low punch, okay? Whoops, sorry. You still got hit. So why do you think you got hit?
You delayed it.
Yes. So I delayed it, and why does delay work? Because the rule for evade, the first rule of evades, the evade has to be done during your opponent, like your opponent has to be attacking when you evade for it to even have a chance to be successful. If you have advantage, go ahead and hit jab and then evade, okay? Right? And this, why is the evade failing? Because you have advantage. And so what happens in advantage? If you have advantage and you evade, it's guaranteed to fail. Because when you have advantage and you act on it right away, you're acting before the opponent can recover. Having a +2 advantage means that my attack is going to be 2 frames slower. It's going to be at least 2 frames slower. It means that I'm going to attack that when you have +2 and you attack, you're going to be attacking 2 frames before I attack if I were to attack as soon as possible. Right? It's like me being late, except automatically that way. You know? So that's what frame advantage is. Frame advantage is a time advantage. It means you can't, you're going to be acting later than me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm familiar with
frames.
frame,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, sorry. You're being so compliant that I'm not sure if I'm making sure you understand it. So
You're good. It works.
Okay. So really important to understand, these concepts are huge because when we spar in VF, it's all about this. So now, to cut to the chase, I'm going to do the drill I do with everyone. You fight however you want, okay? Fight with me however you want. But I'm only going to be using jabs, elbows, and throws, and that includes low punch. And I'm going to use defensive techniques and movement, but that's all I'll use. I won't use anything bigger than that, all right? So you go ahead and attack however you want. And you fight me however you want. And don't worry, I can beat most players in the country this way. Now, if I'm crouching, one of the techniques is to hit me with an elbow and throw me. So it's so for example, I'll do this sequence and then I'll do this, okay? Even when you block, I'll do this, right? And that crouch dash is beating both your elbow and your throw. This is what we call fuzzy guard, where I do this. So the trick is you can delay throw or do a low attack. After you block the elbow and I do this, you could do a low attack or you can delay the throw. Okay, we'll spar some more, but I'm just showing you that because I am going to be using fuzzy guard in this when I do this drill. So, and if you're wondering why I'm consistently ducking your throws, that's part of the reason. You know, the other is that I have a habit of just kind of like the thing about crouch dash is it's not that risky to do. It is risky. It does have risks. If you threw the elbow a little before I did the crouch dash, that elbow's going to hit me, right? But there's a lot of cases where I can do it and I'm okay. So, you know, where, or at least like where I'm not getting much from it, but I'm having a really strong defense because I'm pretty. It's true that I'm a very hard person to throw, but I will tell you a key to throwing a player like me is to understand that if you can detect my decision making, so the beginner will understand that okay, when my opponent guard is when I should throw, but against me, it's when my opponent tries to evade, that's when I throw them. Because if you throw the same time I evade, you'll win. But it's hard to do that, and it's scary. But yeah, that said, we'll fight. Yeah. Very good. By the way, you may be wondering, okay, so in Tekken, mid and low is like the real mix-up in that game, right? Are you wondering? Have you wondered why like it's not in VF? Why we don't talk about mid-low as the mix-up in this game, even though it is a mix-up and it's a good one.
Why?
Because in this game, lows typically are weak, or they're good at chipping your opponent. They're like, you play third strike?
No, not really.
Okay. Okay. Basically, in this game, a lot of them, like even though they'll annoy me, like even like Brad will do like this like 1K, right? But even if even if you hit me with the sweep or you hit me with the 1K, I've got advantage, so I can like elbow you right away, and if you attack, you'll lose. You know, so it's one of those where it's like you're minus on hit with it, and so like I'm just like I'll just attack right away when I see that, you know. So it's like you're kicking me in the shins. I still get to it. I still have enough advantage to attack you, right? And so that's the reason. That's one reason. Two, they are very punishable and they're crushable, right? So they carry risks. They do carry rewards. It's the lack of reward that makes them not always the best. Very good. So now we're going to show another tactic. I showed you the 6P plus K, okay? Let's simulate the drill where that's pretty good for you, okay? As a beginner. The first drill is going to be, I'm going to low punch, and this time I'm going to throw. Okay? So you're going to get hit by the low punch, and let's say you know, not just you're guessing or like you think, you feel it, the experience, this match, I've been non-stop low punching to throw against you. So you know, you're very sure I'm going to low punch and to throw against you now. That's the situation. Okay? So what do you do, right? Try to pick the highest damage option that you know so far to beat the throw. So get hit by the low punch and then make your choice, okay? There you go. That's your option. Normal hit launcher. If you are certain they're going to go for throw. And I'll tell you, like against a beginner, what you'll probably see is this. You'll see them dash into the throw. And that'll be like one of the tells. because they'll be so afraid of missing they'll be so afraid of missing the throw that they may dash, and that might tip you off that they're about to try to throw you. But against me, I'm more likely. So in another case, I want you to do the uppercut. Okay. So now we're gonna do real application of uppercut. So yeah. So this time just do the. So this time I want you to try 3-3P. So crouch dash into 3P. There you go. Try to do it as fast as possible. Yeah. And with the stick, there's two ways to do crouch dash, okay? One is you tap 3 twice, so that's 3-5-3, right? The other way is do 3-2-3. You can squiggle it. 3-2-3-2, 3-2, 3-2. Right? Try this. Try it without the attack. Try to do rapid crouch dashes, right? You could do it like this. This is 3-5-3, 5-3-5-3. But you can also do 3-2-3-2, 3-2, 3-2. Right? And with the square gate stick, it's pretty easy. So you can do 3-2-3P, right? 3-2-3P. There you go, like that, yeah. But you can do however you want.
Almost like a shortcut TP motion.
Yeah, there is a real reason for having two different crouch dashes, by the way. So mastering both these techniques for crouch dash will help you. And here's the thing. So normally a crouch dash, this is like 5 frames when I get to crouching with it. But if you do crouch dash into attack, it will automatically set your character into, like if you buffer it from a stun, it will only add 1 frame to your execution. So you'll take 1 frame to get instantly crouched for that, and it only works for buffering an attack, and then you'll do your attack that was from crouch. So in your case, Brad try 3P right now, just 3P from standing, right? You got this short upper, right? But to get the crouched upper, you do crouch dash into 3P, but you do it really fast, yeah. And if you do it from recovery, if you buffer it, that uppercut is only 1 frame slower. It's not like 5 frames slower or 10 frames slower. It's only 1 frame slower. So it's still very fast. So that's another reason to master buffering. So, okay, so now, another real world situation where how to apply this. Okay. You're going to do the uppercut, and I'm gonna block it, okay? And then I'm gonna show you the option I do after it, and then we're gonna repeat the drill, and then you're gonna beat the option I did 3 times in a row, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So first time you just get blocked and watch what I do. And then after that, you make a choice about how you're going to beat it, because I'm going to do the same thing, okay? So how are you going to beat this? Yep. How are you going to punish it? Yep, that's the way to punish it. This time, I don't think... Oh, that is guaranteed. Holy crap. It's guaranteed here, too. That's really scary that it's guaranteed in this situation. So we're going to punish it 3 times more in a row. So even though it slows down, you still do it early. Just do it pretty fast still. There you go. You're gonna get used to doing this even when it's slow-mos. Okay, so you understand this decision, right?
Right.
Okay, so now now I'm gonna show you the next option. Okay, so now let's do a real scary option. Let's punish this throw attempt.
Oh my gosh.
There you go. That's how you punish a throw. Like, those punches aren't giving you much, right? Now they give you advantage. That's why they're good. They're still good. But I'm telling you, if you wanna offset the risk of getting launched, right? Then if you want to match that risk when you decide to punish the throw option, then you should try to get good damage on it, because the risk to you is the risk for you attacking is scary. Like, I'll show you the risk. Go ahead and do the uppercut and then attack, right? Right? That's the risk to you. If you choose to, that's your risk if you choose to attack, right? But you're making this guess that I'm going to throw, and so you choose attack because you're like, well, the real way this plays out is usually you do attack or block as your default options, and when you find that your opponent is just defending a lot, then you start throwing, okay? And similarly, you block, and then if they're throwing a lot, now you start to do attack to beat the throw, right? So that's really how the decision is that. And then I got to teach you guard throw escape, about how to mitigate that risk of throw too. So do you know how throw escapes work in this game?
You press throw in the direction that you expect to be thrown.
Not
Not
exactly.
the direction you get thrown, but like the last direction.
The last direction of their input, right? Okay, now here's the thing. This game is Final Showdown. There was a change made to this game. This game specifically, not Virtua Fighter 5 Vanilla, but this game, okay? And it's a good change. We have what we call lazy throw escape. It's good. Now, whenever you guard, you should not just be guarding. There should be one of two things you're doing when you guard. Either one, you are doing a throw escape while you guard, or two, you're buffering your next move. Those are the two things you should be doing. Only those two things when you're guarding. One of those two things. So, here's what you do. Press and hold guard. Press and hold punch. And just leave it at neutral, okay? No matter how long, if you hold this the whole time, I cannot throw you with neutral. You will escape it every time if you just keep holding this the whole match. See? Now I can do the other throws. But there's only 3 directions. What are the 3 directions, do you know?
Left, right, center.
Correct. Forward, back, and neutral, right? And we say forward because you're escaping my forward throws with your forward direction, right? So now hold guard, punch, and forward, right? See? Except now I have to do back throw, right? So try escape back. Yeah. Now, why did I have you hold guard first and then do the throw escape? Because if you press throw, you're going to be vulnerable. My attack will just beat you, right? And like press and hold throw, and now move. You're walking. Right? This sucks. You know, you don't want to be doing this in the match, right? So you should press guard, and then not too quickly, but like, you know, maybe like just a little after that, press and hold guard, punch. But don't plink it. If you plink it, you run the risk of doing this. Like, some people when they plink will do this, and this sucks, right? So just, you know, just like after 2 frames, press punch. So bum bum. Okay. So the trick is anytime that you're stuck, you get, like, let's say you whiff an attack, you should guard throw escape, but only as long as you normally would, and then you continue doing your thing. Okay, that's the assignment. And I would say the assignment is at first, maybe for a few days, only do forward, and don't think of it as that you have to guess yet. Just mechanically make sure you're always doing a throw escape. But it should be, you can start with forward. And here's the way to think about throw escapes in this system. you're denying throws. And if you deny the most powerful throw, that's a good part of the game. You know, you're forcing your opponent to only do neutral or back, you know? And that's not bad. Now here's the thing. I've told you how to throw escape. And I've told you how to guard throw escape. And this is a defense that's mitigating a lot of risk for you, okay? So let's say your opponent is going to do the high jab, which is +2 in the elbow. And then now he just keeps doing jab in the throw, okay? So go ahead and defend against the throw.
Is this going to be the like crouch dash?
No, this is just do a throw.
Okay.
Just do guard throw escape, okay? And in this case, just do forward, you know? Right? So this is one way, this is you mitigating the risk. You're not sure, you think he's probably going to do jab elbow, okay? But like, let's say he's been doing this the whole time, right? And now it's predictable. He's going to go jab throw. So what should you really do if you know he's going to do jab into this forward throw? There you go. Let's make him really pay for, let's make Sarah really pay for this. Let's do more damage than that. There you go. But I would do the 3 PP.
Yeah, that's.
You'll get used to. I'll message you the homework assignments. So, and you get to practice on AI. You should play against the special sparring. It's really cool. Right? So the thing is this. That guard throw escape, you do it when you're not sure. Okay? If you know, like, you can feel it. He is so gonna try to throw me right now. Your answer is to launch him. Okay? Like, if you're certain. Now, it's hard to do this, but you might as well practice it while you're learning, right? And just remind yourself. Don't beat yourself up if you're not doing it. Just kind of coach yourself. Going like, oh, okay, I think I can do it. And after enough tries, at some point you'll get it, you know? You'll be like, oh, okay, he always does this, and I'll do that. Now, the arcade mode is worth practicing. I spar with the computer, actually, and it still helps me a lot. So I know people want to say, oh, the computer is worthless. It's not. It gives you a lot of practice. It gives you a lot of room to practice this technique. In arcade mode, the first 3 stages, you practice combos. Just combos, because the AI is going to let you hit it. And it's going to let you counter hit. Stage 4 and onward, you have to mix up your defense, your offense, your attack, and your throw. Okay? And stuff like your uppercut's going to be a huge thing that's going to win a lot of situations without doing so much risk. But also, you know how before you liked doing backdash? You can still do that. Try backdash into 6P plus K. It's not bad, you know? Or if they whiff from long range, Brad's tool is 3P plus K. So down, forward, punch and kick, like 3P plus K. Yeah, and then if you hit with that, you confirm it into that. And then, if they stay on the ground, can you do back, forward, kick and guard?
Back forward.
Yeah, that move. Go ahead and do 3P plus K P, knock me down, and then try to hit me on the ground with that move. Dash forward and do it. So you do like forward, back, forward, kick and guard. I know it's hard to get used to right now, but I think there's a lot of situations where that move will actually hit them off the ground. Just to let you know. But anyways, don't worry about it. But I'll give you a list of stuff to work on and practice against AI. It's going to be fun, and there are opponents that are just learning the game just like you, and that are new, and I'll try to connect you with them too. But have fun sparring with different people. You know.
Right.
Would you say, are you able to apply like a learning mindset when you play the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say so.
Good. If you can do that, that helps so much in this game. If you have the mindset of I've got to beat everybody, then I get to see those guys quit really fast. You know. So, and it doesn't even matter even when the game's popular. they run into a player like me that just like destroys them and then they quit and it's like, okay, you know, but it's like, but you know that I'm willing to help you and I'm willing to point out like what I think and give you advice, you know. But this is a game where it's decision. The 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 execution of this game is not that hard. It's the rapid fireness that's hard. It's that you're making a decision on offense and defense all the time, and that is the thrill of the game, and that's what we love about this game. And if you get, as you get more comfortable with the game, that's what I think you will love too. And I think you will like it a lot. I think generally, look, every game has its broken elements, but this game will feel fair most of the time, you know. So, all right, we're gonna fight. Good. And against the way that I'm playing right now, with punishing with 6P plus K is a good tactic against me. But I am going to try to stop you from doing that, so I'm not going to make it easy. I'm like, I'll try to run the clock. Yeah, bam, bam. Now that said, this boxing is weak against people that do big ass attacks from long range. So the proper approach, so like a lot of developing players and intermediates do run into this wall where they fight beginners that like to use crazy long, slow attacks at long range, and then I teach them, and they learn how to make decisions in this up close fighting that we're playing right now. So then they're like, oh, I should be able to beat that beginner, but there's a problem with trying to box somebody that's long range, and that is, remember how earlier I said that if 2 attacks hit at the same time, the greater damage wins. So if they're hitting with like a big ass haymaker, well, if they happen to hit the same time they're gonna win. So the problem with the boxing is that it's a close range fighting, so I've got to move forward. So the proper way to apply the boxing when someone does that is to go in and defend and just block the haymaker, you know. But if you try to out hit them, you're gonna like lose. Good. And if you're wondering how I'm able to throw quite a bit, right? Part of it's that I'm predicting when you're going to guard. The other part of it is that when you attack me with like with a media-ish kind of move, now of course if you attack I would lose if I tried to throw, but what's important to know is that you've brought yourself into throw range by doing that, right? So if I happen to defend successfully, so I don't have to dash in or get close, right? I'm already close. And that's what also, and then you have a big enough disadvantage, like if your uppercut gets blocked, that I get to really mix up against you. And I can't fuzzy guard that situation. Like, you cannot fuzzy guard when your uppercut's blocked. We'll get into the mechanics of it later, but the gist is that you can fuzzy guard at -5 or better, but you cannot fuzzy guard at -6 or worse.
Right.
And so the uppercut is like -7 or -8. It's going to be one of those, and those are critical numbers. So yeah, it just means that your opponent can mix you up. Yes? Okay, I'll send you guys to bed soon. I'm just about to wrap up. Alright, let's see here. You're doing really well, though. Very good. Now you gotta make me pay for my decisions. But I am also guarding a lot, so this is the tricky thing about VF, right? You're just like, wait, it's hard to see when they're guarding, because in a lot of fighting games you're used to watching you're used to realizing people have blocked you when you've done like 3 attacks. You know what I mean? In a lot of fighting games,
it's
like
hard to
this
like
game,
get
it's
like stuff out
realizing that they just blocked 1 attack is really hard, right?
yeah. I'm sure that's gonna come with like more familiarity.
It absolutely will. You're gonna like it. I'm so sure. I've got no biases. But yeah. But are you feeling the decisions that I'm doing, or are you feeling a little?
I think right now I'm very much like playing catch up
Okay.
while you're playing the game.
Yeah. No problem.
Like I'm yeah.
But so this is showing you how strong those core basics are in this game. You don't play this way with the low punch. You don't play this way with the Dick Jab and Tekken.
Yeah, for sure.
In Tekken, so here's the thing about Tekken, right? In Tekken, you saw that 1-2 was really strong, right? Like 1-2 is strong. Why is it strong? Because it sets up like +3, even if they block, right? But also because, because 1 is like a 10-frame attack, and even though it's a high, in Tekken, actually, it's really scary to crouch too much in that game because people start launching you, right? And so the scary thing is the crush. You're afraid of your low being crushed. On top of that, the low punch doesn't give you much advantage. I think it gives you like +1. It may be 0, but it doesn't give you much to work with.
Too.
Yeah, so you're wall standing, so your attacks are going to be a little slower too, right?
Yeah.
So in Tekken, like, you just don't have room to really do much. In this game, if I block the low punch, I'm +5. If I hit with the low punch, I'm +4. And if I counter hit with the low punch, I'm +7. These are big numbers. And the high jab is like 1 frame more on all of it, except that the high jab is +2 on block. And then it's +5 on normal hit. And it's +8 on counter hit, But, and so the jab, the elbow, the low punch, and the throw, those are like your build, and the block, and the evade. Those are your building blocks in this game for constructing a win. And they also are your building blocks for constructing a read. You manage like low risk until you have enough repetition to see the way that your opponent likes to play. And then you start coming up with a plan on how to deal with what they like to play, And this game is more about that, and that's why we talk about the mind games. But before the mind games, it's just very basic, how to box them like in real boxing. The jab is used very much like the jab in boxing, meaning it's a disruption tool. It's good at stopping them. If it counter hits them, it doesn't do damage, but it sets you up to do really big damage after, because they're at a big disadvantage if that happens, right?
Right.
But also, if they block it, you're still throwing it. The 2 is still coming, right? And in this game, the 2 is more scary than Tekken's 1-2, right? Because the 2 is a mid, and that mid is okay. So we talked about the weakness of high attack. We talked about the weakness of low attack. So what is the strength of mid attack in a 3D fighter?
Not attackable.
Yeah, you can't crush it. You can evade it. You can reverse it, parry it, sabaki it. But those are all very narrow. But a character might only have one of those things, like one sabaki attack, one parry, right? And so generally the big weakness of a the strength of the mid attack is that if you have the advantage to use a mid attack and you put it there, you pretty much win attack versus attack. So it really pushes them to defend or get creative with their attack option. So you squeeze down their good options by doing a mid attack where you have advantage. So a common thing that messes up a lot of people in this when they're learning this game is doing too many strings with vulnerable high attacks. And then
I was doing that.
And now you can see that low punch just beats that. In Tekken, you have to learn the strings because mid-low mix-up is terrifying. And a lot of strings in Tekken have mid-low mix-up. or a threatening low or a threatening mid that you have to learn how to block, right?
Mhm.
But in this game, a lot of strings, I would say 85% of the strings have a vulnerable high. And because they have a vulnerable high, it means that at the low level of this game, 2P just wins against strings, against most strings. Jackie is different, and I'll teach you how to fight that. But Jackie's different because he's got what we call EX high, which is a high attack that doesn't lose to a low. It could counter hit the low attack. So Jackie has that, and he has a couple of them. And because of that, low punch mashing is risky against him unless you know where to low punch mash. But everybody else, their strings typically are gonna have a vulnerable high. And even Jackie, if you watch me fight Jackie players, you'll still see me hit them with low punch like a lot. It's just knowing where you can do it. But generally in this game, you don't need to learn the strings much. The strings become good later in the game. They become better at higher level. That's ironic, right? You're like, wait, they're weak at a low level, but they're strong high level. Why? Well, one, at intermediate level, people start crushing low punch. Okay? Because low punch is still low. It's an EX low, but it still can get crushed, right? And they start having plans against low punch. Two, they start learning that the low punch is not the threat, that they need to assault your decision after the low punch. Okay? They need to assault your mix-up. They need to win the mix-up. They need to play the mix-up and then win it. And so that starts to happen at intermediate level. And then, so what happens is that strings become better later because as players play in that way, and as they progress their skills, they start learning how to react more in this game. They start learning how to counter different situations in this game. And they start learning how to play with the reaction, with patience, with watching. But here's the thing about watching. When you're watching, you're probably not buffering. Okay? And also, here's the thing about advanced techniques. This game has a lot of advanced techniques like option selects, but those advanced techniques kind of bet on the opponent buffering. Once people start delaying, that messes up. Once people start delaying, use really slow attacks, or are late or slow, they start beating some of the advanced techniques. And this is the cool gameplay loop of this game where at a high level, everything, it just goes all over the place. They start fighting this way, then they start fighting that way, then they start fighting this other way because they're trying to outplay each other and because there's this paper, rock, scissors that happens at all levels of play. Not just the attack, throw, and defense, but within, we're going to attack versus attack, but now we're doing it on tempo because there's a way to do that. You know, we're going to start doing these other techniques and now we're countering them. And this game becomes very complicated at the high level that way, but parts of it is kept simple. Parts of it hard. Where the strings get scary for a player that's reacting, that's watching, and is not doing actions until they see certain things, is now those strings become like, I start teasing the opponent that's reacting with delayed strings, with doing the string slowly, and they start walking into it because they're like, oh, he's not going to attack, I'm going to attack, then they get counter hit by the string, you know? And so strings become good later in this game, but they start off kind of weak because people are just going to low punch launch you or low punch throw you depending on the way that you play. So that gave you a lot of information. Do you have any questions, even though it's quite a bit?
Not really. It was really nice to go over a lot of this stuff. There was some stuff that I was familiar with Virtua Fighter already, but like this really helped me see how everything intertwines.
The backdash
this is super helpful.
Last note, so about backdash, I told you couldn't block from it, right? Second weakness of backdash, if you get hit during a backdash, it's a counter hit. And then third weakness, everybody has some type of kick attack that will stagger a backdash, and that stagger is really, really hard to break. It's incredibly hard to break that it's almost guaranteed to work, that the combo after it is guaranteed to work. It's not. It's just really, really hard to break that stagger, that specific stagger. All staggers are different. And the thing is, that combo is usually going to be 40 or 55. Like, for Taka, it's like a 55% life combo. but for a lot of characters, it's like 40% damage. And so, now that said, that doesn't make backdash bad. It just means that backdash has extra risk.
Right.
There's still really good reasons to use it. And Brad is is actually a defensive character. Brad is a character that you play a little like Tekken, because his skills are, he doesn't like, long range punish is not so great. That 3p plus kp is kind of your long range punisher, but I showed you the 6p plus k. That's a really good anti-throw, and that's a really good whiff punish when you're close, if you're at elbow range. It's a really good, if you see them whiff, like bam, you've got them, and they're standing, right? The thing is, it's still a high, so if they're crouching, it's not going to do anything for you. But if they whiff like a high attack or a mid attack that's standing, or then like you're gonna do a lot of damage to them. And Brad does actually have good guard punish. He's one of the characters that has really, really good guard punish. We didn't cover that, but he's got guard punish, and he's pretty good at it. That is his first guard punish that's really good. So PK, if 6p plus k doesn't work as a guard or evade punish, then you switch to PK. And if PK doesn't work if it's can't punish, then you just do like elbow, And that's kind of the basic decision making there. So anyways, keep at it. You just started, but you're doing great. Thanks for taking me up on my offer and thanks for letting me record this. And I hope it is enjoyable. I know it's kind of an info dumping on you. But,
no, you're good. Like I said, this is really helpful for like making the concepts of the game stick in my head.
Also, when you see people on the VF Discord on the evenings, like when you see the voice chats active with the stream, go ahead and watch. Like they're doing it right now. Actually, you should watch right now. So join them. That's a really fun group. And Harpooneer is also a really good teacher too. He talks really fast and a lot. He's gonna swarm you, and he's got that New York swagger, but the New York confidence, okay, the swagger. But he's a great teacher as well, and he'll teach in a very fun way. He's a fun personality, so he's I like to think that I'm one of the teachers in the community, but he's a really great teacher too. So.
Gotcha.
But more than that, you should just hang out with them tonight just because it's fun. You don't even have to play, but you can play, and you should. Joshua Pac-Man's a good opponent to practice with too.
Okay.
He has experience, but there's a lot of things that he's learning. He's also really applying fundamentals more, and so it's wonderful practice. And that room usually is that way too. Even though Harpooneer is really strong, he usually plays in the ways to help the player get better. So yeah, but at the very least, just peek in the room. They'll Harpooneer might see that you're in the room, so he might give you a shout out, and just say hi. And I really encourage it, just to see what this community is a bit more about. But right now they're doing VF3 actually, so you can watch them play VF3.
Yeah, I saw that.
That game is more like Tekken. So, that game is different. It's good. It is one of my favorite games.
It has that evade button.
It is. It's one of my favorite games, but this one is my favorite Virtua Fighter. It is my favorite game, but like I've been active. I've been traveling for VF for 25 years. So, I went to New York just to play Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle 24 years ago. So yeah, it's. So it means a lot to me, and and then I've also built and rebuilt my local scene many times over. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Don't be shy. Don't be a stranger. I am really happy to help. I look forward to answering questions, and and if you just want to chat, that's fine too. So, all right. But
well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So welcome, and thanks for giving our game a try, and I hope you give it more tries. And at the same time, these are things you can practice against other players, and there's things you can practice against the AI too. And the AI is quite good. And special sparring is only in the console versions in Final Showdown that you have. If you have all the DLC packs, it's unlocked. And special sparring, what it does is it has very scripted characters. Like you fight a list of characters. There's a bunch of lists, and you fight a list of characters, and those characters all are heavily scripted. So you get to see the moves they like to do, and then kind of figure out how you want to deal with it. And I think that's a very fun way to learn the game too. So, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. You have a good one, and I'll catch you later. Oh, they also have favorite throw directions, so you can start practicing your throw escapes on them very well too. So,
What was it?
in special sparring, their throws like each AI, each bot has like has favorite throws, and usually a favorite throw direction. You're like, oh, this guy it's forward. I'm gonna escape forward. That guy it's back. Okay, this one's doing neutral. I'm gonna escape neutral. It's fun. It's a fun way to learn how to do that too. So yeah. So they have favorite moves and they have favorite throw directions. So yeah. All right. Have a good one. I'll catch you later.
Yeah. You too. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Likewise. Thank you very much, Styles. All right.
Later.
Catch you later. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. We're good to go now. Cheers.